We're starting with a Fallout classic, Radroaches. Turns out the old joke about cockroaches surviving a nuclear war wasn't entirely wrong. They just came back bigger, angrier, and with a taste for human flesh. Lucy encounters her first Radroach shortly after leaving Vault 33 while resting at a campfire. Fortunately, Dr. Wilzig's cybernetic dog CX-404 intercepts it, though even the enhanced canine struggles to crack through its hardened exoskeleton. Dr. Wilzig provides a breakdown of their adaptations: an enlarged thorax for defense, extended antennae for pack hunting, and powerful incisors capable of consuming larger prey, including humans. These creatures are nocturnal hunters attracted to light sources, and they typically hunt in groups, which is about as pleasant as it sounds. Later in the series, Maximus faces a swarm of them while in his power armor, demonstrating that even Brotherhood steel isn't quite enough to make these pests leave you alone. Radroaches first appeared in Fallout Tactics and have been a staple enemy ever since. In the games, their meat can actually be consumed to restore health. Whether you'd want to is another question entirely.
The Deathclaw is arguably the most iconic and feared creature in the entire Fallout franchise. While Season 1 only gave us a taste, Season 2 finally unleashes them in full. Deathclaws have taken over the abandoned ruins of New Vegas, turning the once bustling strip into their nesting ground. When Maximus, the Ghoul, and Thaddeus gear up to fight their way through, we see their true strength. Maximus charges in, wearing NCR power armor fitted with wrist-mounted blades for close combat, while the Ghoul backs him up with a Gauss rifle. Even with power armor and heavy firepower, the Deathclaw shrugs off hits and keeps coming. Here's the fascinating part. Deathclaws aren't random radiation mutations. They were deliberately bioengineered by the US military before the Great War as weapons for search and destroy missions, designed to replace human soldiers in the most dangerous combat operations. The military combined DNA from multiple species, primarily Jackson's chameleons from East Africa, to create these creatures. When the bombs dropped in 2077, the Deathclaws escaped containment and evolved into the wasteland's ultimate apex predators. Deathclaws stand approximately 20 feet tall and are bipedal, an intentional military design choice. They have distinctive dual horns inherited from their chameleon DNA, razor-sharp claws capable of slicing through a human in one strike, teeth the size of human forearms, and thick, armored skin. The name Deathclaw is not metaphorical. They are exactly as deadly as they sound. While they normally walk upright, they can drop to all fours when charging, combining terrifying speed with devastating power. Deathclaws are highly social creatures that operate in packs with alpha males leading hierarchies. They're fiercely territorial and establish nests that they defend aggressively. In the games, even Brotherhood of Steel units often don't return from Deathclaw territory. Here's where it gets really interesting. Some Deathclaws were subjected to experiments with the Forced Evolutionary Virus, FEV, significantly increasing their intelligence. In Fallout 2, there was an entire community of intelligent, talking Deathclaws living in Vault 13, led by a Deathclaw named Gruthar. One named Gorus even wore a robe to disguise himself while studying human society. Even without FEV enhancement, some Deathclaws can mimic human voices like parrots. Deathclaws have been terrifying players since the original Fallout. They're considered the ultimate enemy. The official strategy guide basically says that unless you have heavy armor, serious firepower, and lots of healing items, your best strategy is to run away immediately. Gulpers.
The Gulper is arguably one of the most disturbing creatures introduced in Season 1. These massive amphibious predators lurk in wasteland lakes and rivers, drawn to anything living that gets too close to the water's edge. Their name comes from their horrifying ability to swallow prey whole, including full-grown humans. The Ghoul uses Lucy as bait to lure the monster out again. During the scene, we get an unsettling, slow-motion close-up of the Gulper's mouth, a jagged cavern filled with human fingers acting as teeth, while spiky, tentacle-like appendages wriggle around its head. Its limbs are even worse, muscular, human-like arms ending in webbed fingers. It's not just a giant mutated salamander. Its anatomy is disturbingly human, which makes the entire creature far more horrifying. The series reveals that Gulpers were created in Vault 4 through unethical experiments. Scientists there attempted to hybridize humans with radiation-resistant species, resulting in grotesque human-animal chimeras. Overseer Benjamin even mentions that his great-uncle Peter became one of these monsters. A holotape Lucy finds shows a woman giving birth to Gulper offspring, only for them to immediately turn on her. Eventually, the Gulpers escaped into the wasteland and now infest water sources as aggressive, territorial predators. Because they swallow their victims whole, the digestion process is slow, long enough for the survivors to recover Wilzig's head from inside the creature's stomach. In Fallout 4's Far Harbor DLC and Fallout 76, Gulpers are simple, radiation-mutated salamanders, large and dangerous, but not human hybrids. The show's creators added the human characteristics to make them even more grotesque and memorable. The Yao Guai represents one of the wasteland's most dangerous predators. These mutated descendants of American black bears survived the nuclear holocaust and evolved into something far more terrifying. The radiation didn't just make them bigger, it turned them into aggressive, territorial monsters covered in burns, wounds, and boils that give them a particularly threatening appearance. Their razor-sharp claws and immense strength make them capable of tearing through even the toughest materials. This is shown in the series, when Knight Titus and Squire Maximus encounter a Yao Guai in a forest cave. Despite Titus wearing full T-60 power armor, the creature's claws are strong enough to damage the armor plating. The bear tosses the armored knight around like a toy. Maximus ultimately kills the Yao Guai with a headshot. In the games, Yao Guai first appeared in Fallout 3. The name derives from Chinese, roughly translating to demon or monster. These creatures are extremely territorial and aggressive, even willing to attack Deathclaws. Their meat and hide can be harvested for crafting purposes.
Brahmin. Brahmin are mutated cattle that developed 2 heads as a result of radiation exposure. Lucy briefly encounters one near the town of Philly, being herded by a wastelander. While the show's version appears relatively similar to normal cattle, aside from the extra head, the game versions show more severe mutations, including brown, irradiated skin and exposed bone structures. In the games, Brahmin are essential to the post-war economy. They require minimal water, survive on wasteland vegetation, and provide numerous resources: milk with radiation healing properties, leather, meat, fertilizer, fuel from their waste, bones for weapon crafting, and fat for soap production. They can survive for extended periods without water and subsist on minimal food, making them ideal livestock for the harsh wasteland environment. There are mutated bears, roaches, cows. So obviously, we need to talk about mutated humans. Ghouls are humans who survived extreme radiation exposure but suffered severe physical transformation. The radiation causes necrosis of the skin, giving them a decayed, corpse-like appearance. They lose their noses and hair and develop an unnaturally long lifespan. However, there's a critical progression. Ghouls retain their memories and intelligence at first, but gradually degenerate into a feral state where they lose their minds and develop violent, cannibalistic behavior. The show's primary antagonist is a pre-war actor who became a ghoul. He maintains his sanity by inhaling a mysterious yellow serum. Without it, he experiences difficulty breathing and becomes incapacitated within minutes. Ghouls possess remarkable regenerative abilities, including the capacity to reattach severed body parts. This is demonstrated when Cooper's index finger is revealed to be Lucy's reattached finger. The show also suggests that humans can be artificially transformed into ghouls through chemical means, gaining similar regenerative powers. In Episode 4, Lucy accidentally releases a group of feral ghouls from containment. These mindless creatures immediately attack any living beings nearby, behaving like traditional zombies. In the games, ghouls are completely immune to radiation, but face severe discrimination from non-mutated humans, which contributes to their psychological deterioration. They can only be killed by destroying their heads. If you thought giant cockroaches were bad, wait until you meet the Radscorpion. These things are mutated descendants of the North American emperor scorpion, a species that was a popular household pet before the war. When the bombs dropped, radiation combined with exposure to the forced evolutionary virus transformed these once docile creatures into aggressive predators the size of a small car. In Season 2, Lucy and the ghoul encounter them while searching an abandoned hospital. First, a swarm of smaller bark scorpions drops into the room, which they handle with gunshots and a frying pan. But then, a full-grown adult radscorpion shows up, and that's a completely different story. This thing is armored, fast, and hits hard enough to injure even the ghoul. He resorts to using an injured survivor as a human shield before finally killing it by feeding it a grenade. Even then, the ghoul gets stung and poisoned, leaving Lucy with only one stim pack and a brutal choice over who to save. In the games, radscorpions have been terrorizing players since the very first Fallout. They come in several varieties, from smaller bark scorpions native to the Mojave that attack in flanking patterns, to massive albino variants that can go toe-to-toe with Deathclaws. Their venom actually became more potent through mutation rather than diluting, which is the opposite of what scientists expected. They prefer to sting rather than use their claws, and they can burrow underground to ambush unsuspecting prey. Radscorpions are nocturnal by nature, but will hunt during the day if disturbed. They're social creatures that hunt in packs, and their queens can grow large enough to fill an entire room.
An antidote can be crafted from their venom, and in Fallout 2, a scientist even managed to genetically engineer a Radscorpion intelligent enough to speak and play chess.